Peace. Quick little think fast. Want to speak on closing the gap, and I'm using this terminology from a shout out to the brethren Snoop. I saw a Snoop Dogg interview, and I spoke to this. I'm always speaking to this, but I use the quicksand analogy. But is when you grow away from certain people, places, or things. And he spoke on about closing the gap. And when I always speak to with the quicksand situation, you're reaching your hand out from the firm ground. Like, you don't, somebody in quicksand, you're trying to help them. You don't help them by just like, oh, let me jump in there with you. And now we both in quicksand, and then now nobody could help us. We both screaming help. It's like you stand from the ground firmly, and you reach your hand out, and try to pull that person up. And like we're closing the gap, it's like, here it is, all your family members, homeboys, homegirls, everybody you grew up with, basically, you start off on them same type of little vibes. For one, school done molded us in essence to be somewhat the same, or try to make us the same. But then as you start to grow, you get your own individual vibes. Your own experiences allow for you to look at earth with a different look at the physical existence with a different perception, and then it starts to become a gap between you and others. And as you're growing, and this is when I say gap, and you see one going higher than the other, this is not to say that somebody that's still at the beginning of their growth is not as good as a person that's on a further part of their growth. Because guess what? That's why it isn't about looking at it on a competition level. Just like somebody growing on a high spiritual level, there's beings and things that are higher than that, something higher than that. You know what I'm saying? So to be looking at that to attain something, you would never really, satisfy yourself in that instance. But again, back to the point, as you start to grow in that, that gap. So say for instance, and I use this example from my own experience. The people I used to drink 40s with and smoke herb all day, all the time, with all that type of vibe. Right here on that growth, and I grow away. To close that gap, you're not trying to go back, and to that place of drinking 40s and smoking weed all day, and not to say that smoking herb is a bad thing. I'm just speaking from, when you're smoking it, overuse of anything, could be a bad thing, and that's a bad, quote unquote, but a harmful thing, I should say. But I could easily go back to that place, and now I'm back where I'm at. Now I'm not being the entrepreneur that I could be to help raise that person from that spot. Now I went back, and if you close the gap that way, then nobody is excelling or winning or growing in essence. So when you closing that gap, you stay where you at, and you gotta let the the homies know, homies, family members, whatever. Like, you gotta come meet me. Like, you gotta grow up to where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Now, now we straight. Now we could continue growing. But for me to come down here, that's detrimental to my own sole purpose and what I'm getting done. And it's detrimental to you, because now I'm becoming an enabler. It's like, all right, now you really got a reason to stay in that old mind frame that's not serving you. So when closing the gap, it's not about going back, to where you were. You got away from those things for a reason, and it wasn't to go back to them. And that's where the part of the growth of not caring what people think, and making sure staying true to yourself, loving yourself. Because if you love yourself, you're not gonna put yourself back in a situation that's harmful to yourself. If you love yourself, you're not gonna put yourself in a situation to have you in jail, locked up, or certain situations like that. You're gonna continuously grow and get away from that, and stay in a position where you're able to help people to grow to that stage. Again, standing on firm ground with the hand reached out, like, hey, I could help you. But again, I'm not diving in this quicksand where we both gonna be screaming for help. and two, by just being yourself and honoring, honoring your soul purpose, and honoring, your, like, be real, just loving yourself. you know you if a person is meant to be around you, then they gonna grow to that place where you at. But if you feel you gotta go down there, then that situation is not meant, unless it's meant for you to go backwards and not grow spiritually. And your life lesson is to repeat, the same old stuff that you've been doing. Then that may be your purpose in essence. I really I kind of doubt it. In essence, we come down here to grow and to expand on the in a high vibrational level, and to again, not do the same old things, but to create and do new things, and to move out of that fearful spot. Reason why a lot of people stay in a place of comfort, because they're fearful of growth. Because growth takes change, and a lot of people again fear change. They fear, like, I could easily say, and that's another thing on our growth. When we're closing the gap, it's like I could easily go back. It's easier for me to, like, and I didn't say easy because I ain't gonna lie, to when you get to a certain place spiritually, of course it's hard to go back to what you used to do. But at the beginning stages, it's easy to go back to doing what I'm not, what I'm used to, what I've been doing, like, for most of my life. The subconscious is programmed by habit. So it's easy for me to go back to my old habits. But that's why the repetition of building the new habits is so important, because as you keep continuously building those new habits, it becomes staying, like that neuroplasticity, in the brain, creating that new neural pathway, that new trail. How you got that little trail, the little trail to Wendy's. Thinking back in my hometown, like my junior high, they had like a little trail to get to, like, the little fast food spots and stuff like that. But again, matter of fact, you could take that old little trail to the fast food spot, or you could, find you another little trail. And, like, even though the grass growing right there, you by continuously going through this new trail, you create a little space for you that's comfortable to travel down. You know what I'm saying? So building that repetition and that new place of growth, is what helps. Of course, when a crackhead first quit crack, they gonna find it hard to leave that life alone, as far as, like, they can't see how good they're gonna feel having a job and taking care of themselves when they not farther removed from that position. It's hard for them to see, like, how that type of thing could make them happy, because that vibration of the substance that they used to, the habits that they used to, is still kind of more evident. And because we, with our five senses, whatever kind of appeals or shows itself to us the most, so it's like, I'm used to this part. But then you see, as they grow, and how some of them, and two, I'm using this analogy because, from dealing with the situation from where I'm from, I only can speak from my environment, what I'm used to, or what I should say, what I'm used to, what I grew from. But when that person, continuously grow, then they start to get to a place where, man, it comes more satisfying to have this job and to take care of myself and to do all these things. And then you see where it's a 360 or 180, where you see this person and they're just, like, totally different and have no intentions of going back to that old life. But when you're in that in between spot, it's like the old habits is kind of easy to fall back on. It's an easy place to go back to, until you start growing more, and it becomes a hard place to go back to. Because it feels so good to feel good, and you in this new vibration. Enjoying things on that level. You get to see, because also too, with a lot of these things that hold us back from experiencing life on a higher level, these are momentarily pleasures. You get that little hit of whatever it is for a moment, or that little taste of food that, make them taste buds feel good, but then all of a sudden you still back where you're at. You're not getting no growth. You're not expanding. Like, I think about, like, when I first was like with spending money on certain things. It's like I didn't want to spend money on my I ain't gonna say once I grew to that place I started to, but like at the beginning, kind of penny pinching with my buying books and crystals until I got to that place where I'm like, man, it feel way better. Like, all right, so say for instance, I was penny pinching on the books and crystals to make sure I got like stuff like more herb and more food, say for instance. But then I'm seeing like, all right, as I'm overindulging in this food and this herb, it's a means to no end. I'm back at square one, wishing I really had this crystal or this book. Like even though like I went to the pleasure side, got the pleasure, ooh, it tastes good, feel good. Then after that's gone, it's like, all right, man, I really would love to have these crystals in these books. So eventually, I continuously grew until I got to a place where like, all right, nah, like I'm about it. Oh, it's $50. Oh, I'm buying it. Oh well, I go without food or herb for a little second. There ain't nothing but a little pleasure. It'll come like, so it's gonna make sure I'm nurtured and taken care of. Because again, a lot of our eating is overindulgent anyway. So with that being said, just gotta grow into that space and realize that, of course, at the beginning, it's easy to fall back to that place of where you came from, but you just gotta stay resilient and continuously grow. You're that, how can I say, expanding your comfort zone to be your new comfort zone. Like in that paradox of that statement, you'll get comfortable with being not say uncomfortable, you'll be comfortable with growing your comfort zone. So as it continuously grows, you become comfortable with different experiences, with doing different things and being fearless in your actions, more. But back to the basis of this situation, closing the gap. You didn't work, you ain't do all that work to just go back, and it's a strong test, because this is, it's family members, it's close friends, and it's things that really have a close relationship on your being, in the essence of your growth. But again, you get to a place where you realize, all right, dealing with your I really want to grow into what I love. Like, I really want to deal with my soul purpose and do what I love for the rest of my existence and the rest of my physical existence. So if you really want to do that, it's just some cords you gotta cut, in essence, and you gotta grow. And that doesn't mean there's less love, because another thing too, if you're around somebody, or if the person, that's how you know the real situation. Those people that feel like oh man, they think they better, they don't drink 40s with us no more and smoke all day. And again, that's not to, we're all on different parts of our growth, so I'm not knocking it on that type of level, just speaking to it. But yeah, a person like, oh man, he don't want to drink 40s no more, this and that, then that person, you realize, and that's what growing allows for you to see too. Like, all right, who's really about loving themselves and me, like, what I'm saying, as far as like which people in my life are beneficial to my growth, and vice versa, where we mutually beneficial to each other. But it'll show itself, as you grow, because then you got some people who watch you grow, and like, even though they may still be in that spot, because we on different spots of our growth, they're like, well, yeah, man, I see the, where that stuff makes sense, and they start to grow and reach up. Like, well, I don't think Universal crazy for leaving the neighborhood. Like, I see why Universal meditate. I see why, I need to, start working on that myself. The next thing you know, you vibing, in the place you vibing at, you taking care of your little entrepreneur, do this and that, and then so and so who, the family member, that person from back home, or from that place that you grew from, they right with you. Like, they done took a trip to wherever you at. Like, my situation, took a trip to Los Angeles, and they working on something now, and now they grew to this place. How we continuously grow together. But again, it's all about, and two, back to that situation where, Again, it's no good or bad situation where if a person's still at the beginnings of their growth, that's not a bad thing. Everything is meant. Again, just like when you grow, if a person doesn't want to grow, then that's their soul. That's their soul journey. They're not ready to grow in that moment. It's not your job to try to push them along faster, and it's not your job to go back to that vibration that's no longer serving. You just got to continuously trot on and send them nothing but love and the best of wishes. The best of vibes on their journey. But definitely an important situation for a lot of us to deal with right now. Is not giving in to that vibe of like, to be nice. Let me close the gap by going back. Nah, they gotta come. They gotta come up to that vibration. Raise up the vibration and connect on that, man, and not be going backwards. Because again, if we both in the quicksand and we both gotta scream for help, nah. Compared to where if one of us get out of the quicksand, it's like, I reach my hand out, and if I tell you, just one moment, bro, just clap your feet, like do your best to just move and reach your hand out the best you can, and then you reach your hand out the best you can, and I'm able to grab your hand and pull you on out of there. Like, gotta help me help you, in essence, because again, it's not our jobs to help each other on a certain level, like on no hands-on level. Like it's we help each other through being ourselves, by being that high vibrational light. And of course, you put certain things in place for people to learn how you did it. But again, you're not like, it's kind of like teaching a horse how to, you bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. I could show you how to drink the water, but I can't make you drink the water. Like I show you where the water is, show you how I get the water, this and that, but I'm not about to do it for you. I gotta teach you how to do it on your own. That way, you self-sustain yourself, and then you're able to teach, and it trickles down. But that's it. Peace.